Avowed is the upcoming first-person fantasy RPG developed by Obsidian Entertainment and set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. It takes place on the Living Lands, a mysterious island filled with adventure and danger. As an envoy of Adir, you are sent to investigate rumors of a spreading plague with a secret that threatens to destroy everything. Today, we are going to dive into the world of the Living Lands and talk about the latest news from the developers. We have a brand new Q&A to go over from the developers that gives us a ton of new details, including information regarding the game's story, the companions, characters, some huge new gameplay details, and more. Guys, we have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get into it. One of my favorite things to do is chill on the couch and play games on my Steam Deck. I've currently been replaying Dragon Age Inquisition, and needless to say, the vibes are immaculate. Well, thanks to today's sponsor, Raycon has made that experience even better with the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. Their new upgraded model now features active noise cancellation, so I can completely immerse myself while gaming. The upgraded Everyday Earbuds offer everything you love about Raycons and more. On top of the active noise cancellation, they have an ergonomic design and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair two devices at once, so I can go from my Steam Deck to my phone easily. Raycons are available in a variety of vibrant new colors to complement any skin tones. I personally have the black Raycons with the Galaxy protective case, and these are the most comfortable earbuds that I've used. I don't have to worry about earaches or earbuds falling out. It genuinely is a good experience. If you've been wanting to check out Raycons, there truly is no better time. Their upgraded model will blow you away and question yourself why you didn't pick them up sooner. Click the link in the description box or go to raycon.com/west to get 20% off your Raycon purchase, plus you get free shipping. Now, when it comes to the story for Avowed, we actually have a ton of details from a recent blog posting by the developers of the game that detailed new information about the game's story, as well as a new companion. Now, in the article, they said this, and I quote, "In Avowed, as the envoy sent directly by the Adirian Emperor, your adventure kicks off in Paradis, the bustling port city at the heart of the Living Lands. This vibrant hub has been shaped and reshaped by generations of pioneers, each leaving their mark, often in blood, on the Living Lands. It's also the epicenter of tension between Adirian forces and the locals, who are suspicious of Adir's growing presence." They continued by saying rumors and hysteria have also begun to bubble up in Paradis surrounding the Dream Scourge, a mysterious plague of the soul, as it afflicts people, animals, and even the land itself. No one knows how it spread, but many have come to recognize and dread the symptoms. First, victims experience confusion, disorientation, and hallucinations. As it worsens, they become unpredictable and erratic in their behavior, as if trapped in a waking nightmare. In the final stage, they turn into dream thralls, their bodies twisted with fungal growths, and their minds and souls are overtaken by the plague. They then said, watching our newest trailer, you'll hear three distinct voices speaking to you. First is the Emperor, who believes the Dream Scourge could develop, if unchecked, into a dire threat to Adir. He sends you into this wild frontier to uncover the source of the plague and put it into it. And then we have Inquisitor Lodwyn, the leader of the Steel Garrote, an extremist paladin order from Adir, believes there's something more sinister at play and calls on you not only for you to eradicate the Dream Scourge, but also bring the island to unruly factions to heal. Meanwhile, your companion Giada perceives a larger and more mysterious force at work in the land and urges you to embrace it in all of its awe and chaos. As a stranger to these shores, you'll need to navigate your relationship with three of these factions, work to uncover the source of the Dream Scourge, and prevent it from plunging the Living Lands into madness. They then stated, supporting you on your journey are four companions, including Giada, a brilliant and outspoken animator who studies soul energy. She has endured suspicion and ire for her work, but like you, she desperately seeks a solution to the Dream Scourge, and she is a vital ally who will help you understand the unique metaphysical ecosystem of the Living Lands. But remember, the Dream Scourge is not only the thing you're up against. Tensions simmer between the locals and Adir, and the island itself seems to be rebelling against itself. And every choice you make could tip the balance of fate toward one faction or the other. Who will you align with? Who will you destroy? And who will ultimately control the Living Lands? Next up, we also have some details regarding the game's quests, some of the skills, party members, and more. Now, this is actually coming from the Xbox podcast, where they did the deep dive. They had members of the Avowed team and revealed a ton more details. Now, they first started off by introducing the Emerald Stair region, which you'll go to fairly early into the game. They stated that Avowed's dynamic day and night cycle will change the atmosphere of each of the game's fantastical biomes significantly, and the Emerald Stair after sunset is particularly gorgeous. The nearby town of Fior is home to an enclave of animacers who study the science of souls, including the Dream Scourge plague. They then said, speaking of animacers, the gameplay we saw showed the player on a quest to help them, but before we got there, we got to meet one of the game's soon-to-be companions, Yatzli. Patel described Yatzli as a little lightning ball with a lot of personality, pointing out that she can get a little risque, and we see very quickly that her dialogue immediately takes a flirtatious tone. This also shows off Obsidian's trademark of engaging dialogue and choices. Certain attributes or character backgrounds you choose will unlock new options, which can add more personality or even change the outcomes of your conversations. Yatsley sends us off to collect a godless vase, an artifact of the people she studies, and the player is plunged into combat, even using a mixture of spells, ranged attacks, and melee. We saw the player struggling to take down even smaller enemies at this point, and it's here that we saw the game's party camp feature. They said that it's a narrative hub and also your upgrade hub. That's where you'll get to know your companions better, and you can get to know their backstories and get to know them better as individuals. You could also hear them getting to know one another through their banters at camp, which is always super fun to eavesdrop on. They then said that one thing that we wanted to create with a party camp was the sense that you're adventuring and exploring together through this big wilderness and all of these different landscapes, and party camp is this quiet space where you could huddle together and share a moment of respite. And then they said the pace and tone of everything is a lot slower and quieter. Next up, they said we also got a good look at the game's upgrade system for skills and abilities. You could upgrade your skills and abilities anywhere as you level throughout the course of the game. On certain level up milestones, we'll get to upgrade our attributes, and on every level up milestone, we'll get to pick a new ability. This quickly bears fruit as we see the Fan of Flame skill unlocked and used to reduce a previously blocked path to ashes, but it wasn't the only option. We wanted to try as much as possible to give different abilities that players can pick up solutions in combat, but also solutions in exploration. So there's always more than one way through a barrier. You'll have weapons, your own abilities, spells, weapon enhancements, sometimes even your companions who can use their environmental abilities to help you get through barriers. That openness to problem solving is never clearer than in the other quests that we saw in the demo. Having recovered the vase for Yatsley, a key part of our journey is to unlock her as a permanent companion. We saw the player set off to recover the Adragon heart for the Animacers. This mystical object is being held by the Delimgon, a territorial species who don't take kindly to adventurers passing through their land. Initially, we saw the player take a hands-on approach, battling through the Delimgon and using every combat ability at their disposal to reach their queen, who immediately attacks the player for killing so many of her followers. The demo was then reloaded, and we saw the player utilizing in-game currency to fully respec their character, adding multiple ranger abilities that allow them to take a stealthy approach, using the shadowing beyond skill, which renders them invisible for as long as their essence is intact and without engaging in any enemies. They took multiple passages to reach the Delimgon queen without any combat. In doing so, they found her in a far better mood, gifting them the heart and letting them go in peace. They said it's emblematic of how open Avowed will be to interpretation and how your choices will allow you to take different paths to get what you need. And skills in particular are totally open to how you choose to use them. You could really mix and match between them freely. If you want to be an all wizard, you could build entirely through that skill tree. If you want to mix and match, make a battle mage, or make someone who can be a bit stealthy in certain moments and a little bit more aggressive in others, you have the freedom to do that. Next up, we actually have a developer Q&A over on Windows Central, where we have even more details about Avowed's gameplay and so much more. So the first question was asked, can you tell us more about the gameplay improvements in Avowed? To which the developer responded, the team revisited the combat and mechanics based on player feedback, making the combat more responsive and improved animations, VFX feedback, and audio. They aimed for visceral combat inspired by the systems used in Warhammer Vermintide games. They then said, how was the player freedom addressed in Avowed? To which the devs said, Avowed will not lock players into set classes. Instead, players can pick and choose their abilities as they progress and even respec their character. This system allows for flexible and varied playstyles similar to Skyrim. And then will players be able to experience a completely pacifist run? They said the combat will be necessary at times, though some encounters can be avoided through dialogue or making different choices earlier in the game. Full pacifism is not an option. Will Avowed have a first-person and third-person perspective? To which the developer said yes. It was then asked, how are important are choices and consequences in Avowed? They responded, choices will significantly impact the story, side quests, and character interactions. Some consequences will be immediate, while others will influence your game's ending. It was then asked, how are companions integrated into Avowed? They said companions are integral to the story and will have meaningful interactions with the player and each other. While there are no romantic relationships, the companions will add depth through their personal conflicts and backstories. Players can engage with the companions at the party camp, which also serves as a hub, like we said. And then finally, why did Obsidian decide against including multiplayer in Avowed? To which the answer was, the decision was to focus on a single player experience, and driven by the challenges of integrating multiplayer without compromising the game's quality, the team wanted to ensure a robust, narrative-driven RPG that Obsidian is known for. Well guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on Avowed. Personally, I'm excited for this game. It's one of my most anticipated games of this year, and I can't wait to see how in-depth the game is. I absolutely love Obsidian games, and I cannot cannot wait for this one. If you enjoyed my coverage, guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on, so you're not missing out on any future gaming news. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.